Welcome back, Reserve Citizen Airmen of Westover Air Reserve Base. I'm Senior Master Sgt. Andrew Biscoe with the Public Affairs Office, and here with me today is our 2018 Great New England Air and Space Show Director, Lieutenant Colonel Egan Coogan. Welcome, sir.
Well, hi. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Sir, tell us how long you've been here at Westover.
Well, I got here in 1998, came off active duty, was flying the E-3 AWACS, and decided to change airplanes, change commands, and came to Westover. Was a reservist for about 3 or 4 years, then became Air Reserve Technician. Stayed here for a few years as Air Reserve Technician, then went to 22nd Air Force and worked as Air Reserve Technician there. And came back as I've been here since as an Air Reserve Technician, second time since 2007. So it's been quite a long time.
So quite a few years here as an art.
Yep.
Talking about this air show, you've seen a lot of others here, as I have. Why is this one important this year for the base?
Well, it ties in with the 70th anniversary of the Air Force Reserve, and that's going to be part of our theme. Is the Wings of Heritage Shaping the Future is our theme. That's also the Air Force Reserve 70th anniversary theme. So it's good that it's nice that we could tie that in with our theme for the show. That's really the biggest reason. It's also it's just great to be able to put on a show when we can to showcase what the Air Force and Air Force Reserve have for the public.
Show the American taxpayers what we do up close.
Yeah,
the Air Force Reserve does have a vested interest in this show. They're sending up their command historian who was planning to have a tent near us too. So the Reserve anniversary is a big deal, so it is a nice tie-in. The obviously with the size of the show and it being in the middle of the summer, we're expecting a lot of people. Besides the Thunderbirds, who are the other headliners that are coming that they're going to be people can look skyward at?
Well, we're going to have the Geico Sky Typers, which is a bunch of it's a warbirds formation of airplanes flying. It's really pretty neat to see them fly. They fly a lot closer to the crowd than the Thunderbirds, so you'll be able to see them the whole time. So it's kind of a nice performance. We're also going to have several military airplanes flying, like the KC-135. We'll probably do a little demonstration, C-17, do some civilian high-performance airplanes flying just to see how they fly, as well as C-5 will be flying to showcase that too. So we'll have a pretty good mix of different airplanes and group of airplanes flying basically.
And so you answered my next question. People will get to see and hear the sound difference of that M model.
Yeah, we always like to fly the C5. Since our base and we have a C5, so we like to fly the C5 in the air show. And this one won't be any different. We'll definitely fly it. It'll be different than it has in the past just because it'll be a lot less noisy as we put the new engines on the airplane. So it'll be kind of neat to see how that affects, it's got a little more performance than it did in the past, and it's a little less noisy, so it'll be a nice little part of the show.
It'll be amusing to watch some of the expressions on people's faces.
Yeah. Because
some people will go, and they'll just pull their fingers.
It's still got some noise to it, but just not nearly. It's a different noise for sure, and it doesn't hurt the ears as bad.
We are a reserve base, of course, one of several in the United States. Active duty bases put on air shows. They have a full contingent of people that are there all the time. This is a much bigger challenge for a reserve base to do this. How many people approximately are involved with putting this whole thing together?
Oh, there's several hundred people putting the thing.
A lot of behind the scenes people.
A lot behind the scenes, yeah. We've been working like the last 2 years to put on the air show, so it takes a long time to put on an air show. It's not just happens overnight. It's just a weekend, but it's a lot of work that goes into that weekend for sure. We have a lot of reservists that take time off from their job to come and work on the air show for us when they can. And we also have the Air Reserve technicians here that work full time that when they have time in their day can take away from their regular job that they have here and work on the air show. So.
And with the air show comes the Kickoff Breakfast, which has been organized by our Galaxy Community Council, nonprofit organization locally. locally based here in the Pioneer Valley. We understand that we're going to have a retired Air Force Colonel Katie Coleman as an astronaut here. But tell us a little bit about the naming ceremony for what I believe is the first C-5 we got here.
It would be the C5 that's named after Chicopee. So yeah, it's like a nice little way to commemorate the fact that the city of Chicopee does so much for the base, and that we have ties to the local community. So yeah, after our breakfast traditional breakfast that we have for the show, we're gonna have a little ceremony for that.
And so for people to get into the breakfast, they need to go to GreatNewEnglandAirShow.com to purchase tickets. The event that's going on that day leads up to, I understand we'll have the practice demonstrations will start after that.
Yeah, the breakfast is a nice thing to go to because, like I said, there's going to be a astronaut there speaking, so it'd be interesting to hear her about her life story and things that she's done while she's in space. So that'd be pretty neat to see and hear. And then, like I said, we'll have the commemoration ceremony for the C5. And then after that, you can have like a little show, your own little private show, of seeing the Thunderbirds and the Golden Knights and several other acts perform on Friday morning after the breakfast. So it's a nice little way to come to the base, see some stuff, and not have to fight as much of the crowd. So works out pretty good.
Speaking of crowds, this is sort of an open-ended question because there's so many things that happen at an air show, but it's always usually hot at an air show. What would you suggest people that are watching this bring besides sunscreen and water? What would be really important for them to keep in mind?
If you want to have I'd say, if you're going to sit on the asphalt, a blanket is good. You probably could bring some lawn chairs to help yourself out. One thing we're going to do this year differently than we have in the past is we're going to have some bleacher seating. So you can actually, it's free admission into the show, but for a small fee, you can actually get a seat in the bleacher seating so that you don't have to sit on the asphalt. So that's something we're doing differently than we have in the past. Definitely, like I said, you want to make sure you bring plenty of sunscreen, plenty of water, maybe an umbrella if you want to keep you out of the sun sometimes. But there's some barriers for shade, and like I said, we do have bleacher seating available. So there are things if you don't want to bring your own chair that you can ways to sit. So.
And the gates open at about 8:30 each morning. The earlier people get here, the better, because the crowds will increase.
Yeah, it definitely gets busier as the day goes by. It definitely gets busier with the traffic and the crowds. So, if you want to see the whole show and not have to sit in a long line to get in or sit in a lot of traffic, then you want to get here early for sure.
And the Public Affairs Office will also be working with senior leadership to broadcast periodic traffic updates through our Facebook page. Information on that will be provided as we proceed towards the air show. We're also planning to have a local radio station here that's providing a free service and streaming audio and radio to also help us with traffic updates. Sir, there's also going to be a lot of airplanes here for an air show, obviously. What, besides the warbirds, which we talked about with the Sky Typers, what are some of the highlights of the static airplanes that are going to be on the ground here that people can look forward to seeing?
Yeah, we try to bring as many airplanes from the Air Force, in the Air Force inventory here to have a good representation of what's actually in the Air Force inventory now, and also Air Force Reserve inventory. So you'd be able to see all kinds of different things, from training airplanes to some different fighters to some cargo airplanes and the refueling airplanes. So it's definitely a good variety of things that you can see. We're hoping we have the F-35 here as a static display, so that'd be great good for the public. Not a lot of people around here have seen the F-35, so it'd be a nice airplane for people to be able to check out since it's brand new to the Air Force. So like I said, there'll be a C5 that'll be set up that you can walk through, and that's always a crowd pleaser to be able to walk through the C5. So that'll be a lot of stuff for them to see.
And mostly the displays will be out on the flight line. Will any of the hangars be open for interior displays at all?
We're gonna have one of the hangars open for some nonprofit organizations that'll have some displays, and the Air Force Army recruiters will have some displays in one of the hangars, and some fun things for the kids to do while they're looking at the the stuff inside that hangar. So it'd be like there's some like fun things that you can inside the hangars that you can do that'll help you get out of the sun, as well as learn something and just kind of see something different than just the airplanes, for sure.
Well, we've talked a lot about the air show today, and we appreciate your time, Lieutenant Colonel Coogan.
Yeah.
And we'll see you out there on the flight line, sir. Thanks a lot.
Sounds good. Thank you.